was a bright May morning in 2025 at Mar-a-Lago when Donald Trump made a move that would significantly impact his presidency. Confident in his ability to pressure foreign leaders, he personally dialed Ibrahim Traoré and proposed a live debate. "Ibrahim, my young friend, how about we show the world how an experienced president tackles global challenges?" Trump said, his tone thick with his usual self-assurance. Ibrahim hesitated, surprised by the direct approach. At 35, he had learned to be cautious around U.S. politicians, especially Trump. "Mr. President, what topics would you like us to cover?" "Africa, trade, development, areas where you folks could learn a thing or two from us," Trump replied flippantly. "It'll be educational for your people to see how America operates." On the other end, Ibrahim gave a subtle smile. "Interesting. Offer, Mr. Trump, I accept. But let's keep it open. No scripts, no limited subjects. Let's talk freely." Trump burst out laughing. "Even better. The more off the cuff, the more revealing. You'll see what true presidential leadership looks like." After ending the call, Trump turned to his aides. "I'm going to embarrass this African kid on global TV. This will be a masterclass in real leadership." Meanwhile, in Ouagadougou, Ibrahim quickly summoned Dr. Alonso Ouedraogo. "Doctor, Trump just handed us a golden opportunity. He completely underestimates how ready we are." "What kind of preparation, President?" asked Dr. Ouedraogo, clearly confused. "We've been quietly researching ties between the Trump Organization and corrupt African regimes for 3 years. We've never used that information, until now," Ibrahim said, a cool smile crossing his face. "If he wants a no-limits debate, that's exactly what he'll get." The stage was set for a confrontation neither side could have fully foreseen. In the days that followed, Ibrahim Traoré dove into intensive preparations. In a secure room within the presidential palace, his intelligence team revealed a powerful dossier detailing the Trump Organization's secret dealings across Africa. "Mr. President," said Major Umaru Sawadogo, "we have solid evidence that the Trump Organization laundered funds for African dictators between 2018 and, by 2022, suspicious transactions tied to the Trump Organization had reached $340 million. Ibrahim examined the evidence thoroughly. The links to illegal mining were undeniable. Trump-affiliated companies had mined diamonds and coltan unlawfully in Congo, Chad, and Mali, bribing corrupt officials and funding armed militias. The major added, "Dr. Ouedraogo has uncovered even more classified material." "Mr. President," he continued, "we've confirmed that Trump personally authorized a 2021 mission aimed at destabilizing the Mayan government. The goal was to gain from his company's mining interests there." Ibrahim, his voice steady but firm, asked, "How many lives did that mission cost?" Dr. Ouedraogo responded somberly, "Roughly 2,300 civilians have died in conflicts fueled by funding from the Trump Organization." Ibrahim exhaled deeply. "And we have concrete proof. Audio files, wire transfers, emails, even documents signed by Trump himself, all verified by 3 separate intelligence agencies," Major Sawadogo confirmed. Back in Washington, Trump was preparing with an entirely different mindset. "This will be easy," he told his aides. "Some young African leader taking on an experienced U.S. president? I'll show him how real business is done." One of his aides hesitated. "Mr. President, Ibrahim Traoré is known for being incredibly well prepared." Trump scoffed. "He's the president of a country no one's even heard of. How ready could he be?" Had he known what Ibrahim had uncovered about his covert African operations, Trump might have reconsidered making that call. May 25, 2025 arrived, bringing with it global anticipation. CNN had organized the debate, which was set to air in 89 countries. Anderson Cooper would moderate, ensuring an even playing field. In CNN's Atlanta studio, Trump adjusted his trademark red tie with confidence. Across the globe, Ibrahim sat calmly in his office, a folder of classified documents beside him. "Good evening, world," Anderson Cooper began. "Tonight, we witness a historic debate between President Donald Trump and President Ibrahim Traoré, focusing on global leadership and Africa's future." The screen split. Trump in CNN's luxurious studio, and Ibrahim in a modest but dignified presidential office. President Trump, Cooper began, you requested this debate. What is your vision for African development? Leaning forward, Trump replied firmly, Africa needs to learn that real growth comes from working with countries that understand business. The U.S. built the strongest economy in the world. Africa should follow our lead. President Traoré, Cooper continued. Your response? Ibrahim smiled respectfully. I agree. Africa must learn from international experiences, including lessons on what not to do when it comes to ethical business practices. Trump chuckled dismissively. Ibrahim, you're young. You don't understand how the world works. Business is about winning. A fascinating viewpoint, Ibrahim replied coolly. Especially coming from someone who believes winning includes illegal activities in Africa. Trump's smile vanished. What are you implying? I'm referring to the Trump Organization's actions in Africa. Operations you assumed would remain hidden, Ibrahim said, resting his hand on the folder. Anderson Cooper picked up on the shift in tone. President Traoré, are you making specific allegations? I'm presenting concrete evidence, Ibrahim clarified, opening the folder. Mr. Trump, would you care to comment on the 2021 African Diamond mission? Trump's face drained of color. African Diamond was the code name for a highly confidential operation he believed was known only to a few in his inner circle. I don't know what you're talking about, Trump said, his usual confidence noticeably shaken for the first time. Ibrahim calmly raised a document to the camera. This is the memorandum signed by you on March 15, 2021, approving a $23 million payment to militias in Mali for securing mining sites. That's a fake document, Trump snapped, standing up from his chair. It's been verified by 3 independent intelligence agencies, Ibrahim responded steadily, including the FBI, which, interestingly, never investigated your dealings in Africa. Anderson Cooper appeared stunned. President Traoré, are you accusing President Trump of funding armed groups? I'm presenting verified documentation, Ibrahim clarified. Operation African Diamond led to 2,300 civilian deaths in Mali between 2021 and 2022, all in service of the Trump Organization's illegal mining contracts. The screen showed haunting images, villages in ruins, families forced from their homes, children left without parents. Each of these lives lost has a name, Mr. Trump. Every shattered family is paid for your business ventures. Trump now looked visibly rattled. This is a coordinated smear effort, he protested. By whom? Ibrahim asked, still composed. By the families you've orphaned? By the governments your enterprises have destabilized? You don't have the authority to impeach me, Trump yelled. I have the right to defend my continent from those who disguise exploitation as enterprise, Ibrahim replied, his tone growing firmer. I have the right to reveal the truth about a man who calls himself a leader while secretly backing violence, he continued, unwavering. Operation African Diamond is only one of several operations we've tracked. Would you like me to go on? Trump's silence was telling, more powerful than any denial. The confrontation had caught him completely off guard. The young man he'd underestimated now held the floor. Ibrahim Traoré decided it was time to reveal more. Since Mr. Trump disputes African Diamond, let's move to Operation Congo Red, he said, flipping through his briefcase. No, Trump shouted. I won't take part in this interrogation. Mr. Trump, Anderson Cooper interjected, you agreed to an open discussion. President Traoré is making serious claims that need addressing. Ibrahim held up another document. Operation Congo Red involved $67 million funneled through Trump Organization shell companies to fund illegal extraction of coltan, a key mineral in smartphones and laptops, he stated. This operation displaced 45,000 Congolese families, destroyed 12 villages, and polluted rivers with mercury. He pressed on, unshaken. Also, the Trump Organization could dominate 40% of the area's unregulated coltan trade. Trump tried, again, to respond, this time more desperate. I never Your signature appears on every document, Ibrahim said, lifting a stack of contracts. Your voice is on recordings approving these deals. Your accounts have received the profits. The screen displayed damning bank statements, transfers totaling tens of millions of dollars. Bank of America, Deutsche Bank, Credit Suisse, all processed. Payments tied to illegal activities in Africa. Anderson Cooper appeared visibly stunned. President Trump, how do you respond to this evidence? Trump, now clearly rattled, responded shakily. This is an international conspiracy against me. Ibrahim gave a short, dry laugh. Mr. Trump, there is no conspiracy. You documented everything yourself, signed the contracts, recorded the conversations, authorized the transfers. There's no need for anyone to conspire. You've left behind a complete record, he continued, his tone even but cutting. But the most damaging piece of evidence is a recording of you personally ordering the assassination of a community leader in Chad who stood against your mining operations. That's a lie, Trump shouted, his voice cracking. The 47-minute audio has been authenticated by voice analysis experts. Ibrahim replied calmly. Would you like me to play it now? Trump said nothing. His silence spoke volumes. The evidence was irrefutable. He sat frozen, panic etched across his face. Ibrahim had meticulously orchestrated a trap with no exit. You Africans are trying to blackmail me, Trump stammered, wiping sweat from his brow. Mr. Trump, Ibrahim said with a disarming calm, blackmail implies a demand in exchange for silence. I'm demanding nothing. I'm revealing crimes. And, do you know why I invited this debate? Ibrahim continued. I thought it was another instance of American arrogance, an attempt to humiliate an African leader. Then I realized it was the perfect stage for justice. Anderson Cooper tried to stay composed. President Trump, these are very serious allegations. Would you care to respond specifically? I don't have to answer anything, Trump barked. I'm the President of the United States, and I lead the nation your operations have harmed, Ibrahim replied, unwavering. That gives me the moral authority to bring your crimes to light. Ibrahim held up a photograph. Trump turned pale. The image showed Trump shaking hands with a notorious African warlord. This photo was taken at a private meeting in 2020, Ibrahim explained. You promised Khan Matsuda $50 million in exchange for protecting your interests in Chad. How did you get this? Trump whispered. Connie has been working with us for 3 years, Ibrahim said with a cold smile. Every meeting, every transaction, every illegal act in Africa, our intelligence documented all of it. You thought this continent was open ground for corruption. You were wrong. We were watching everything. Trump stood abruptly, attempting to leave, then froze, remembering the live global broadcast. You can't walk out now, Mr. Trump, Ibrahim said softly. The entire world is watching. What kind of leader flees when confronted with the truth? Trump was cornered. Ibrahim wasn't. Finished. But there's more, Ibrahim said. Something that explains why the U.S. never investigated these crimes. Trump's face betrayed a growing dread. Ibrahim opened his final folder. We found evidence that you shared profits from your African operations with American officials to shield yourself legally, he said. The list includes 2 senators, a federal judge, and 3 FBI officials. The room fell into stunned silence. Senator Richard Burton received $12 million through a fake foundation. Judge William Hayes accepted $8 million via fictitious investments, and FBI Deputy Director Michael Ross, $5 million in so-called consulting fees. Anderson Cooper was visibly shaken. President Traoré, he asked, are you suggesting systemic corruption within the U.S. government? The government is being confronted with undeniable evidence of systematic corruption. Ibrahim presented verified bank transfer records, exposing that the Trump organization not only committed crimes in Africa, but also manipulated the American legal system to escape accountability. Trump, now visibly shaken and emotional, began to cry, fully grasping the gravity of his exposure. Please, just stop, he pleaded. Ibrahim, his voice firm and filled with moral conviction, responded, You want me to stop uncovering the truth about the man who funded genocide for profit from mineral resources? The 2,300 families who lost their lives in Mali can't erase their pain. The 45,000 people displaced in Congo can't simply forget their suffering. So why should I stop seeking justice? Ibrahim looked directly into the camera. The world must understand that some leaders are merely criminals wearing suits. Africa is not a playground for Western exploitation. And we, Africa's new generation, are not afraid to speak out, regardless of how powerful the guilty may be. Trump stopped denying everything. He no longer fought back. He was broken, completely exposed for who he truly was. Mr. Trump, Ibrahim said at last, thank you for this debate. You've given me the ideal stage to educate the world about your actions. A 35-year-old had just dismantled the most powerful man on the planet, someone who had severely underestimated his opponent. In the hours after the staggering confrontation, global shockwaves followed. Social media was flooded with clips of Ibrahim's revelations, shared billions of times. Hashtags like "Who are Trump crimes" and "Justice with Ibrahim" instantly went viral. I've never witnessed such a complete political collapse, remarked a BBC analyst. Ibrahim Traoré has just changed the course of world history, live on air. Back in the White House, chaos erupted. The vice president tried to take the reins while Trump locked himself inside the Oval Office, refusing to communicate. We need a statement immediately, urged the chief of staff. The president is in total shock. An emergency session of Congress was called. The evidence shared by President Traoré requires an immediate inquiry and possible impeachment, declared the Speaker of the House. If true, these are crimes against humanity. The FBI opened a criminal investigation. The documents appear legitimate, the director admitted privately. If verified, they could lead to the arrest of several top officials. Across Africa, outrage turned into action. Multiple countries demanded international trials. The African Union unanimously voted to pursue war crimes charges against Trump. Africa stands united in its call for justice, said the AU chairperson. Meanwhile, global financial markets plunged. American political instability is at historic levels, reported the Wall Street Journal. Investors are rapidly pulling out of U.S. assets. NATO held an emergency session to reassess trust in American leadership. How can we rely on a partner led by someone accused of war crimes? Asked the French president. In a twist of fate, nations Trump had previously antagonized stepped forward to support Ibrahim. President Traoré has shown incredible bravery in revealing the truth, said Putin. Russia offers him full protection. China provided a comparable level of security. Brave leaders deserve protection from criminal retaliation. Ibrahim quickly shifted from being a relatively unknown president to a globally recognized symbol of justice, while Trump became a widely condemned figure. Just 1 week after Ibrahim's explosive revelations, Trump's situation had become irreparable. His impeachment passed at record speed, with overwhelming bipartisan backing. The evidence is undeniable, stated the Republican leader. We cannot stand by in the face of crimes against humanity. The FBI arrested a dozen corrupt figures named by Ibrahim, including a senator and a federal judge. The Attorney General confirmed that Operation Cleanup, which relied entirely on evidence presented by President Traoré, had begun. The Trump Organization collapsed. Banks withdrew support, business partners severed ties, and properties were seized to provide compensation. According to Forbes, this marked the most significant political and financial downfall in U.S. history. Several African nations launched lawsuits totaling trillions in damages. Trump owes reparations to every family harmed by his enterprises, said a lawyer for the victims. Even more staggering was the Trump family's response. We cannot align ourselves with a war criminal, Eric Trump declared. We are appalled and outraged. Melania immediately filed for divorce. I had no knowledge of these crimes, she stated in an exclusive interview. It was President Traoré who revealed the truth about the man I married. Trump attempted to leave the country, but his passport was revoked. A high flight risk, ruled a federal judge, citing serious evidence of multiple offenses across international jurisdictions. Meanwhile, Ibrahim was honored worldwide. President Traoré rescued Africa from a predator disguised as a leader, said Archbishop Tutu. A truly extraordinary act of moral courage. The Nobel Peace Prize Committee recently announced a special honor recognizing exceptional bravery in exposing crimes against humanity and advocating for justice on behalf of African communities. This came just a month after a historic moment. Donald Trump was indicted on 347 federal charges and faced extradition to The Hague for war crimes. With sharp precision, Ibrahim turned the tables, transforming from the pursued to the pursuer. Predators often forget that their targets can fight back, Ibrahim said in a televised interview. 1 year after Ibrahim Traoré publicly revealed Trump's shocking crimes to a global audience, the political landscape had completely shifted. Trump was now serving a life sentence in federal prison, convicted of both crimes against humanity and widespread corruption. Ibrahim, now the most revered figure in international politics, had become a global icon of justice and ethical leadership. From Geneva, he addressed the UN General Assembly speaking on a new chapter in global accountability. A year ago, the world discovered that the leader of the most powerful nation was, in fact, a war criminal. He stated to delegates from 193 nations. Today, we've shown that justice knows no borders and that even the most powerful must answer to the law. The chamber erupted in a 10-minute standing ovation. Many African delegates were visibly moved, shedding tears as long-awaited justice was finally realized for the atrocities committed against their people. The Trump trial set a powerful precedent. Global leaders can and will be held accountable, regardless of rank or influence. The age of impunity has ended, Ibrahim affirmed. The International Criminal Tribunal at The Hague had broadened its authority following what came to be known as the Traoré precedent. A young African leader proved to the world that justice is possible when moral courage drives leadership, said the chief prosecutor. In the U.S., a new president had taken office, vowing to rebuild national trust through transparency and responsibility. Ibrahim Traoré safeguarded American democracy from falling into the hands of lawlessness, the new president declared during his inaugural address. We owe him an everlasting debt of gratitude. Africa, too, was entering a new era, one rooted in mutual respect and equality. Trump's crimes revealed that Africa is not a territory to be exploited by the West, said the African Union president. We are partners, deserving of dignity and equal standing. To continue the legacy of accountability, Ibrahim founded the Traoré Institute for International Justice. The Institute's mission is to train emerging global leaders committed to preventing powerful figures from escaping justice. Never again will the innocent suffer while the guilty walk free, he declared during the opening ceremony. In a final reflection, Ibrahim spoke candidly. Trump believed Africa was powerless, that its youth were easily manipulated, but he learned that justice has no age limit, and truth remains our strongest weapon. Often, the most dangerous criminals fail because they underestimate their victims. Trump's arrogance gave me the stage to reveal decades of wrongdoing, he added. Justice postponed is not justice denied, especially when someone finds the strength to stand up. The young African leader, who once faced threats and intimidation, had redefined the standards of international justice forever,